G'day folks, just Benno here, just going to give you a short tutorial on using spreadsheets to, I guess, collect, collate, interpret, depict, store data, and the really good function behind it is that it makes everything so much more efficient. There's no need for writing everything down on paper and pages of calculations, and it makes it easier for everybody else to understand what you've done. So we're going to use Microsoft Excel as the, I guess, the dummy program. The reason Excel's good to use is that it's readily available mostly, and most people will use PC software as well, so they'll have access to Microsoft Excel. So for those guys who are unaware how to access Microsoft Excel, if we look right down the bottom to the bottom of the page, down in your toolbar down here, like a taskbar or whatever the hell they call it, you'll see Microsoft Excel, the little black, the little green X. We can just double click on that and open it up, or we can go in through our Windows menu next to it, open up all programs. If you need to, you might have to scroll down to Microsoft Office up here, click on that, and then once again you'll see the green X there, Microsoft Excel 2010. Now you might have a newer version, you might have an older version, but largely they all function with the same basic skill set, I guess you might say. So double click to open it up. That might not have opened up for me. Alright, now we're open. And you'll see this, you know, platform that you may may look a little bit confusing to start with. So basically, a spreadsheet program is about being able to import massive amounts of data into to create what we might call a data set. So scientists will use it to create data sets. You know, business managers will use it to manage staff. Accountants will use it to manage funds, all those sorts of things, and they're quite powerful in the way that we can use them. But today we're just going to use or show you some really basic functions about how we can utilize it for you guys to analyze quick data sets and things like that, whether it be through aquaculture or fisheries management. So to start with, we've got I guess a grid layout where we've got a set of numbers across the top, a set of letters across the top, and thousands of ability to enter thousands of numbers down the bottom here. Oh, sorry, on the left hand side. You can see me scrolling through there at the moment, and we're already up to nearly 200 in the terms of the cells. Now, commonly what we will have in this situation is a reference set where we will call, you know, refer to a cell as C15, for example, right? And that's basically just showing that we're reading across the top of the sheet. We'll scroll across to C, and then we'll go down to cell 15. All right. So if you see, when I click on the actual individual cell down here, you'll see that it highlights in the left and the top there to actually say, all right, that's the cell that I'm on. Alright, so that's a bit of it just gives us two coordinates to be able to direct our information directly to, and when we're actually writing things in the future, we'll actually write things in those references more so than the actual numbers that we want to actually utilise. So utilising a spreadsheet, for instance, we give our sheets titles, for instance. So down the bottom here we might give our sheet a title and just call it, go to rename, and call it average calc or something like that, right? And for instance, that might indicate that we're going to do an average count on, you know, an average estimate on how many fish we might have in a fish tank, or on an average weight of how many fish we might have in that tank, or an average length of fish that might be found in a fishery. So we might call this one here number, for instance. We might have across the top here weight, we might have next to it species, and an ID number, or it could even be where we caught it, for instance, right? So the number might be 1, 2, 3, 4, right, like that, and you might have 500 numbers that you go through, right? So instead of actually writing all those numbers in, you can go put in a sequence of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or whatever it is. Just highlight them all with your left mouse button click. So click off it, click on it with your left mouse button, keep your left mouse button held down, and highlight over your 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you'll see that you've got a white cross. All right, so that's indicating that I've just got my standard cursor and I can put it wherever I want to. What I want to do now is to actually click and drag down to auto-fill my numbers in the corresponding order, so 1 through to 10 for instance, right? So you can see that I'm a white cross here right now, and then when I hover over the bottom right corner of that highlighted box, you'll see there's a little black box in there. Highlight over it and you'll see that your cross changes from a white cross to a black cross. That black cross indicates that I can autofill. So and down the bottom you'll see when I do that down here, it says it gives you a prompt that says drag outside selection to extend series or fill, drag inside to clear. So I can go up and it'll get rid of the stuff, or I can go outside of it. See how the numbers keep going up? I'll just scroll down to 30. Alright, and it's just giving me my number of fish. Alright, or whatever I'm weighing. Alright, so in here, just using this as an example by all means, I might type in 100 grams, 120 grams, 150 grams, 120 grams, whatever it might be. But if I tried to do that again, it's going to remember, the pattern that's there, for instance. All right, so it's going up 154 for whatever stupid reason it is. I'm just going to use that as an example. All right, so now I've got my potential example weights. Now, I might want to type in a species of fish, for instance. Just going to autofill that down as well. And I'm just going to use broom, for example. Sorry to make you all jealous, but we get mackerel around broom and they're normally pretty big at this time of year. Alright, so now we want the average weight of our mackerel, alright, that we have around broom at this time of year. So I'm going to put another column in here at the top, and I can just click on the actual column, the cell. Alright, and click in the cell below it, so cell F2, so see how I've got it highlighted on the sides, and I will write a formula in there. But before we get to that formula, I'm going to actually show you how we would actually write that formula by hand. Alright, so writing that formula by hand, we've got our total number of fish that we've sampled, and we have the potential to be able to total up the total weight of the sample that we've actually found. Alright, so we had 30 fish on there at the moment. Each one of those weights for that 30 fish would get added together. Alright, so our formula actually is total weight, spelt that wrong, let's just go back a tad, divided by total number. Alright, so if you see me use that little hash there, it basically just means total number. Alright, so that would be the way we would write our formula if we were to write it out on a piece of paper. The formula that we write into Microsoft Excel or any of those spreadsheet programs differs slightly, and we use different symbols to calculate, to depict division and multiplication pretty much. They're the hardest ones to do anyway. So I'll show you how to do that now. So back in our Microsoft Excel document, we want to click on this cell again, so cell F2, to calculate our average weight for this population. And we actually might make more sense to put it right down the bottom, because that's basically what we're going to calculate, everything there. Alright, so if we go up to, actually, let's backtrack 2 seconds. Let's do our total calculation over here. Alright, so we know that this one here, we don't have to actually put a total, we don't have to make a formula for that one because we know we've counted 30 fish. So let's just put 30 fish in at the bottom there. But for calculating the total weight of the fish that we have in this population, or the sample population that we've done, we go up here to our formula column. We just click on this little FX. Alright, and that's going to give us a formula. So we can actually go to sum, put in sum, and it's given us a set of columns that we can calculate. And you'll see in here it's calculating up here, giving us C2 to C31. Alright, so if we click on C2, or have a look at C2, alright, that's where it starts. Yeah, so C2. And then we look down to C31 and we see, alright, cool, it's the right, what we would call a field of information. So I click OK on that, and it's going to give me up 7,185 grams. Alright, we'll just use grams. We might even want to put up here that it's actually measured in grams. So we've got a total sample weight of 7,185 grams. Alright, what we can do now is go to write our formula in here to calculate our average, right? So we know that our average weight needs to be the average weight divided by the number of fish that we have in our sample. Alright, so to write a formula out manually, we put an equal sign in the front, and then we will utilise equals, just to left click on the mouse button. So we don't have to write numbers, we just physically click. Alright, so you'll see where I've clicked now, it's got a little blue box around it, and back over here we've got equals C32. Alright, that's directing our cell in F32 to reference C32. Alright, now what we want to do is divide our total weight that we have in our sample population by the number of fish that we've actually sampled. Alright, so instead of utilising the standard division symbol, we have to use the /, alright, because that's the way that Excel recognises the division symbol, and then we'll go cell B32 just by simply left clicking on it right now, and basically we're working up in this formula. It's letting us work up here even though that we've clicked on this F32 volume down here, or sorry, the cell down here. Alright, now if I click enter on my keypad, it's given me an average weight down here of 239.5 grams within that sample population that we've had. Alright, so what I want you guys to do now, actually before I get to that point, basically I'm talking about these individual boxes as cells, right? So if I ever refer to it as a cell, I'm talking about an individual box. Alright, if I talk about a column, I'm talking about the J, K, the letter column essentially. And if I'm talking about a row, I'm talking about it in terms of, you know, the numbers. So columns have letters, rows have numbers, and cells will have the combination of the reference between a row and a column. Alright, so now what I want you to do is to generate yourselves a spreadsheet utilising this basic terminology. Alright, so I want you to calculate out how to just calculate an average. Just create some numbers on a sheet and calculate them out with the formula that I've just shown you there right now, and email it to me through Blackboard, and that would be awesome. Just give it the title of Spreadsheet Tutorial 1, and I'll give you some feedback.